Wow. What a year it's been for the Doodle story. Because earlier this year, when you were on your publicity tour, I asked you earlier on if you had been on any TV shows to promote The Kid Who Would Be King. You were on The One Show. And this was in February 2019. And you told the Doodle story.
I did. It caused some controversy, didn't it?
Oh, mate.
Amongst the listeners.
My Twitter feed lit up. I'm going to read you a few of the messages that I received after that appearance, which I didn't watch, by the way, not because I don't love Joe Cornish. I was busy doing something else. But I looked on Twitter and I was like, what the hell is going on? I had loads of messages and I figured out, oh, okay, Joe's been on The One Show promoting The Kid Who Would Be King, and evidently they've asked him about the Doodle story. And as far as the Twitterati were concerned, you had divulged way too much. And, you know, people hate spoilers.
I think, if I may jump in there, it was the very fact that what they felt was their story was being paraded in front of.
But it was more than that. They felt that you had divulged new...
Well, they felt, but I think they were wrong.
Okay, look, here's some messages. Dr. John Sutton. He says, at Adam Buxton, I'm wondering how you feel about Joe trotting out the whole of the Tom Cruise Doodle story.
Trotting out.
On BBC's The One Show. Calm as you like, as if it's no big deal. Will there even be a 2019 Christmas podcast now?
Trotting out. That's like, why trotting?
Maybe
like
because
an arrogant little piglet.
No, maybe because of the hoof. Ian Kitching says of your appearance and the Doodle story divulgence and what he sees as Doodle story spoilers, unshitting believable. Luke Bitmap, worse than Brexit, says Luke. John O'Bolton, Adam and no.
Whoa, I'm being raked over the coals.
This is what it's like on social media, watch out. Jack Cuthbert, if this upsets you, don't listen to the Empire Magazine podcast. He talks about it again.
Oh, man. I was pretty aware that this would be a thing, and I took great care not to divulge any further story. I might have done a different voice or maybe provided a different detail. But, you know, to be perfectly honest, I wasn't ready for the Doodle story to take on this scale of import.
Did you know they were going to ask you about the Doodle story on The One Show?
I've seen Mr. Cruise twice this year.
Oh, yeah. Whoa.
So I've actually got some new anecdotes in the anecdote canon.
But he's not going to tell... You can't just say that because you're not going to tell us them, are you?
No. I'll tell you them.
This is exactly how this whole fucking thing started.
The Doodle story, I don't think I gave away anything new.
So you're in California?
In California, Los Angeles, giant studios in Santa Monica by the beach. Oh, God, I can't remember. Like 2008, maybe? Early days. And I'm having some sort of a meeting to do with the writing of the Tintin movie. And we're in a little room in a giant studios in Santa Monica where they're doing some test footage to test the motion camera rigs and stuff. Steven Spielberg's there. Edgar Wright's there. Peter Jackson may or may not have been there. Simon Pegg's there. Nick Frost may or may not have been there. Edgar's been contesting some of these details.
And so does Simon.
And so did Simon. What did Simon say?
Simon said that Nick was not there.
I'm just trying to pack it full of famous people.
And that Peter Jackson was not there.
Okay. Well, let's just give them...
you weren't there.
Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say that Peter Jackson wasn't there, Nick Frost wasn't there, and I wasn't there. So Peter Jackson, Steven Spielberg, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, me and Edgar are all in a room in giant studios in Santa Monica, and the door bursts open and in walks Tom Cruise. And he knows Simon. He shakes Simon's hand. He knows Mr. Spielberg. He knows Edgar. The only person in the room he doesn't know is me. And he's very attentive. He makes you think you're the only person in the world when you meet him. So he shakes my hand, says, "Hey, I'm Tom."
Very exciting. Contact, two-hand handshake.
I think maybe one-handed handshake. Sits down next to me, which is quite exciting. I've been doodling during this meeting. I'm doodling a picture of Snowy the dog.
We know.
This is for people who might only have joined the podcast this year. You've got a lot of fresh listeners this year.
Okay.
It's very important. I'm doodling Snowy the dog, and I've drawn all 4 legs, but one of the front legs, I've just drawn 2 parallel lines. I haven't joined them up yet. Tom Cruise sits next to me, and the meeting carries on, and he looks at my doodle, and he says, "Is that your doodle?" I said, yeah, it's my doodle. Are you enjoying this?
Yeah.
I said, yeah. He says, can I doodle? I say, yeah, sure, Tom. Sure, doodle. He picks up the pen. He goes to the 2 parallel lines. I'm remembering this now. Like, it's as if it's happening in front of me.
Yes, for me, it's like a weird recurring nightmare that only recurs once.
You needn't have asked me. You needn't have asked me. I don't have to tell you the most amazing anecdote in the world. And instead of linking up the 2 lines and drawing a paw, he draws a black square, which is available for viewing on my Instagram.
That's right.
Also showed it on The One Show. You tweeted it, in fact. You had the world premiere on your Twitter account.
Yes.
Of that doodle. So the doodle exists to be inspected. He draws a black square as if he's worried that he doesn't know where this doodle will go. He doesn't really know who I am. Obviously, when Tom draws anything, it has value, right? Mm-hmm. Creates anything, it has value.
He's like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. And so that's how far I got, right?
Yes, it was a hoof. We established that it was...
And he said, and I say...
you say, oh, you've done a doodle.
I say, oh, look at that. You've done
a little bit of a doodle.
You've given Snowy a hoof. And Tom goes, this is the new bit. Uh-huh. Tom goes, that's right. It's a hoof. I've given Snowy a hoof. And then he turns to Spielberg and says, hey, Steven, look, I've given Snowy a hoof. And Steven Spielberg turns around, looks up and says, that's it for this year.
Shut up.
No, that's all I'm going to say for this year.
Shut up.
That's all I'm going to say for this year. You've got quite a lot more.
What?
You've got a couple of lines of dialogue.
We've got Steven Spielberg turning round.
Next year.
That's not a story.
Christmas 2020.
But look, mate, you're going to get cancelled.
You've got to have something to look forward to.
I was trying to not use the word cancelled in this podcast.
It's important to have something to look forward to.
We're going to both get killed.
Oh, you think we won't be around this time next year?
No, we're going to be beaten to death for ending the podcast with you saying, and then Steven Spielberg turned around.
This is
and that's
good
the end
things
of
come
this
to
year's
people
episode.
who wait. It's important for people to be patient. It's a very important message at Christmas.
There's patience and then there's inhumane torture.
That's it for this Christmas. It's very important you don't get greedy.
What?
Christmas isn't about receiving things.
Don't think they'd
It's
be
about
greedy.
receiving a little bit of stuff and then giving. Give me another year.
The podcast.
I gave you a lot.
Just started.
And I proved that I did not say it all on the one show.
He's wagging his finger.
There's
podcast.
new bits.
4 years ago this started.
What a cliffhanger. It's like the best
Imagine if
Netflix
Santa
series
operated the
ever
same
written.
way that you
He
did.
does.
This year, little Timmy, I'm giving you the second wheel of your fire engine that you wanted. And next year, there's going to be a rung from the ladder of your little fire engine that you wanted that only costs 99p and is essentially a worthless
Do you know,
toy.
Little Timmy
But I'm going to give it
little
to
Timmy
you.
grows up to be an incredibly good person. Very, very patient, very wise, understands that the world is just about being patiently waiting for wonderful things.
All right.
Wait till next year when I actually don't want to tell you what he said.
I can't even remember the end of the genuine
I
story
told you
myself.
the story.
I know you did, but it was so long ago that I've forgotten. And I don't even think it made that big an impact when you told it me.
Oh, it's good.
That's the thing, is that this all started when I said to you, what was that story again? I just wanted you to say it. Because it was, it was fine. Oh, it's good, you're saying.
It's really good. It's a great story. Not many stories last for 5 years, are so good.
No.
They last
don't.
for 5 years.
I've noticed that too. They don't, do they?